for someone to give me help. All I'm asking for is just some space and some time, then I'll be alright. I've been having thoughts in my mind I can't get out. Tell me things I can't say myself.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Latin Chopsticks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, I am super excited. Today, we're gonna be going to a place that was recommended by one of our viewers. And when I did a little more research on this place has been around for a very long time. It's a little bit far. It's not in Orlando. It's actually in Windermere, Florida, which is about a 45-minute to 1 hour drive. Sometimes it's a lot quicker, maybe at 30 minutes. It just depends on traffic. With that said, apparently this is one of the original Chinese restaurants in Orlando. And I don't know how fancy it is. I mean, looked at pictures, it looked like a regular Chinese takeout, but all the comments that I've read, all the people that I've reached out to, and even one of our viewers in the best Chinese restaurant in Orlando video that I did, which is, I know a lot of Chinese restaurants in Orlando, and the place that I'm talking about that is the best is really, really good. It's the best in my opinion, but I've never been to this place called Lou Garden, and we're actually gonna check it out. And the other cool thing, and this might be a video that I'll make 2 weeks from now, is there is another place that's very similar named, I think it's called Szechuan, or I apologize if I mispronounce it, but Szechuan Lou Garden, Orlando, which is apparently the best dim sum that you can get in Orlando. So I know we just did a best dumplings video, but I mean, I want to go ahead and try this place out as well. So I'm pretty excited because the next couple of weeks are going to be packed with a lot of delicious places. With that said though, right now let's focus. We're going to be going to Lou Garden. It's going to be one of the original Chinese restaurants here in Orlando, and apparently the food is just absolutely amazing and delicious, and I'm super excited. So I will see you guys there. All right, guys, awesome. We are here. I am super excited. We ended up going to Lou Garden here in Windermere, Florida. And this place looks really, really, really good. Honestly, it smells delicious. The place is packed. There's a lot of people here. I have not tried the food yet, but I went ahead and ordered stuff that are a little bit different than what I normally get. We ended up getting pretty much, instead of calling it house special fried rice, I have something called shrimp, beef with chicken and pork fried rice, which combination rice, that's what we ended up getting. We ended up ordering cumin lamb, as well as, I'm trying to think of the other stuff that we ordered. It was like, another one was like shredded pork with Szechuan pickle soup and 2 other items. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna wait until the items come out. We're gonna go ahead and try each one and see how it compares to Greenhouse Chinese. So I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. All right, guys, awesome. So the first item came out, and this is, I believe, the beef tendon with Szechuan sauce. So let's go ahead and check this out. All right, guys, so you guys can see, I mean, this looks really, really good. You have your beef tendons here, as well as a little bit of beef as well here. It's all covered in delicious Szechuan peppers. It looks like it has some peanuts on top, some chives. So let's go ahead and try this baby out. All right, guys, I'm really excited. Let's try this out. So the beef tendon's a little bit chewy. It has a little bit of a snap to it. It's not fully cooked all the way. Not only that, but the beef itself is really tender. It's pretty spicy because it is Szechuan. It has that little bit of a numbing kind of it makes your tongue go a little bit numb, but it's pretty good. The peanuts add a little bit of a crunch, and the chives a little bit of freshness that kind of breaks through everything. Now I will say this is actually served cold, so that is one thing to keep in mind. The reason I ordered is to try something different. That's because we're gonna go ahead and dip it in the soup, which I'm about to show you guys. All right, guys, this is the next item, and this was our, I believe it was pork and pickled soup. So I really want to try this out. This is like, looks really, really good. You see some of the little spice and fat kind of floating on there. You see the pork pieces. There's no noodles in this. It's literally just the soup. But we're gonna go ahead and try a little bit of this out. So first things first, let's go ahead and go for a little bit of that broth and see how it is. Now this spoon is huge, guys. I think what we're supposed to do is go ahead and put it in a smaller bowl and kind of eat it from here, because this is supposed to be not for an individual person, but this is something that you order like for a family. I'm just getting a little bit of the pork here, just a little bit of the broth. And then that way it'll help cool it a little bit quicker. So now that we have our smaller plate, let's go ahead and try this out. Oh, that's really good. Pork is really soft, really tender. The green onions, once again, adds that crunch. The pork literally melts in your mouth. Has a bit of a kick to it. It's honestly really enjoyable. One thing I want to try is getting a little bit of the tendon and putting it inside. That way it softens up and warms up a little bit and see how it tastes. Check this out. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add that. Maybe a little bit of beef. Let's go ahead and try this as well. And kind of like let that sit in there, and we're going to go ahead and just try this out. See how it is. Since it heats up, it does take a little bit out. That coldness, it heats it up a little bit. Makes it a slightly softer. Kind of tones out the spice a little bit, but adds more flavor to that broth. This is really enjoyable. And this is completely different than what I normally eat. All right, guys, awesome. So our next two items came out. You guys got to take a look at this. It looks really good. I do have one thing just looking at it that I don't like, but I'll tell you guys in a second. But first of all, let's check this out. All right, guys, so here we have our lamb, the cumin lamb, as well as the combination fried rice, which has pork, chicken, it has a little bit of shrimp, as you guys can see here. It looks really good. However, I mean, just based on looking at it, it looks like the rice is a little mushy, but that's only looking at it. I haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna go ahead and try it in a second. And then this here is the beautiful lamb with cumin and then hot peppers. So really excited. It has, as you guys can see, jalapenos. It has basically some onions, some red peppers, some chiles, some Asian chilies. I don't remember which ones those are, but you also see a lot of the flakes. And then, of course, you have a whole bunch of lamb meat. So we're going to go ahead and use that tiny plate. We're going to kind of fill it up with both of these items and try it out. So let's see how that is. I'm going to go ahead and just try to move this out a little bit. Alright guys, awesome. I went ahead and served the plate. Now we're gonna go ahead and try each one of these out. So the first thing I want to try is this rice, because that's what a lot of people are telling me was amazing. So let's try it out. Meat's really tender. I was wrong, the rice is not mushy at all. I'm gonna have to try it with this. It's just not sticking together at all, which is good. However, it's good, but in my opinion, the flavor is a little bland. It doesn't have that tough fried rice flavor that I'm used to, that wok. However, I've had really spicy food, so it could be that. You know, this is really like the tendon here. I'm about to grab some more tendon. It's spicy and really flavorful, and it could be that Szechuan pepper messing with my palate. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not as good as other places that I've had it. With that said, it's time to try out the lamb. The lamb has a nice kick to it. It doesn't have a gamey taste. However, it is spicy. It is really flavorful. It is overwhelming flavor of cumin does come through. So that is something to keep in mind. You really gotta like that flavor in order to enjoy this as much as you can. But let's go ahead and try this out. All right. The lamb is really flavorful. It has a lot of kick to it. You know, it has the right amount of salt. And there's no gaminess, but it's a little hot for me. I like spicy food just because it's so hot. And the other things I ate were so hot. And that's kind of diminishing the flavor a bit for me. But I think it's because my palate is like overwhelmed by the heat of everything I got. Because besides the rice, everything I got today was spicy, which is not something we normally do. Now, I'm gonna get to the soup bowl here that we had the soup at, which there's still a lot left. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of the rice in it and put a little bit of soy sauce to see if that fixes it just a bit. Thank you very much. All right, sweet. So let's go ahead and try this out here. We're gonna go ahead and grab a little bit of the rice, put it in there, maybe two big spoonfuls. Everything honestly has been really, really good, but I always have very large expectations on their rice because I figure that their rice should be one of the best dishes here because it should be what they make the most often. Put a little bit of soy sauce. Let's kind of move it around a little bit. Let's go ahead and try this out. Oh yeah, went a little overboard. However, very good flavor. It was missing a slight touch. Let me see if I can mix all this together and maybe tone down that soy sauce a little bit because I put way too much in here. Get a spoon, try one more. There you go. Now I can say comfortably that's one of the best fried rice that I've had here in Orlando. I still wouldn't say it's as good as Greenhouse, but it's really, really good. Once you add that little touch of the soy sauce, it kind of adds a little bit of that missing flavor in the back end of like the spoonful of rice. Usually when you are having fried rice, you want to have that delicious flavors of everything that was cooked in it, as well as the fragrance, but then you also want to have that wok flavor, kind of like the after flavor in the back, because that complements and kind of puts everything together, if that makes sense. Now, while I was doing this, they were able to bring out the dumplings, and boy, oh boy, these are some of the best looking dumplings that I've seen here in Orlando, in the Windermere area, regardless. So let me show you. So these are some of the largest looking dumplings that I've had. You can tell they're completely stuffed, and they're nice and pan fried, so the top area is really, really crunchy. You can kind of hear it with the chopsticks. They gave us a little bit side of sauce, so we're gonna go ahead and just dip it in there ever so slightly, and we're gonna go ahead and try this out. Now I'm gonna take a bite of this, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what's the filling. Wow, it's almost like a soup dumpling. It's really, really hot. Now the inside has pork and chives, because that's what we decided to order. They have the pork and cabbage, but this is pork and chives. I felt like it'd be a little bit stronger in flavor. Let's go ahead and check this out. Now the inside is completely stuffed. So there's like a giant pork meatball in there. And I mean, they did not skimp on the green onion. I mean, there's a ton in there. I'll be honest, it's good, but I have a feeling the cabbage would have been much better for what I'm used to, just because the green onion is getting a bit overwhelming because of the amount of green onion that's in there. All right, let's go ahead. Now the sauce, really, really good. Oh my goodness. This is some of the best sauce that I've had. It's like soy sauce with a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of tanginess. Now, unfortunately, I'm not gonna retract what I said. It's good, but, and this is like, could have been my fault, it's way overwhelming. Like, you know when you cook vegetables too much, and then it kind of starts releasing that bitter taste? I feel like that's what happened here. However, the broth in there is good. No, this isn't supposed to be like a soup dumpling or anything, but there's so much juices in there. Like, it's already dripping. It is crazy filled. And that sauce just helps balance it out really well. When you dip it in that sauce, it changes the flavor completely, because it literally tones down the bitterness from the green onion. Honestly, everything is really good. Now keep in mind, everything I'm eating, with the exception of the rice and the dumplings, is all new to me. I've never had it before. And I'm not used to eating like really hot foods while I'm describing them, and that's my fault. But once you put a little bit of touch of soy sauce, or maybe if I didn't have the soy sauce or I didn't have any other spicy foods. All right, guys, so I will admit this place is better than a lot of the other Chinese places that I've been to. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it is up there. So I agree with my viewer in saying that it's a pretty darn good place. Personally, I still think Greenhouse is a better choice, but in really, you want to have a lot of different options of places that you want to go to. So this might be closer to you if you're staying a little bit further north of the theme parks. Windermere is definitely going to be the place to go. The good thing is that this area doesn't have nearly as much traffic as Orlando does, so it's definitely a possibility when you're coming here, especially like, let's say you leave the parks. We're like, honestly, like 5 to 10 minutes away from Universal Studios, so that's definitely a plus. With that said, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will see you guys next Sunday. I'm still not sure where we're gonna go, whether it's gonna be the other Lou Garden with the best dim sum in Orlando, or we're gonna do White Castle. Or actually, I do think that what we're gonna end up doing is what I mentioned last week. We're gonna go to a Hawaiian place that serves poke bowls. So I will see you guys next Sunday, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much. And until then, let's just keep on eating.
I see what I'm asking for is just some space and some time, then I'll be alright. I've been having thoughts in my mind I can't get out. Tell me things I can't say myself.